We begin with the dangerous air quality for millions of Americans. 13 states are under alert as smoke from hundreds of wildfires in Canada spreads across the Northeast and Mid-Atlantic. Right now, New York City has some of the worst air quality in the world, and Detroit is up there as well.
That's right. So air pollution is absolutely out of control all over the Northeast. I'm sure everyone has seen photos, if not are living an incredibly apocalyptic sight right outside of their windows. The air quality is often unsafe, but the reality is, what is this stemming from? And we all know climate change. But so according to NBC News, air pollution is spiking from these wildfires that have been raging in the Canadian provinces of Quebec and Nova Scotia. Canada is experiencing one of the worst starts to its fire season ever recorded. I mean, it's only June. 414 fires were burning in Canada on Tuesday evening, including 239 considered out of control. The Canadian Interagency Forest Fire Center said more than 6.7 million acres have already burned this year, federal officials said last week. And just to give you some perspective, here is a map of like how much the Northeast is being affected by the fires. And that red is, we're assuming, the worst of it. That's a lot of bad. Maybe purple gets even. This is me just trying to like key what Noah is saying. Purple seems real bad, red less bad, green okay. But if you didn't know, of course, the air pollution from wildfire smoke has become a significant health risk to the US and is growing worse. Stanford University researchers found that the number of people who experience at least one day with unhealthy air quality because of smoke rose by 27 times over the last decade. So interestingly, with this story, I think that the East Coast is largely, and especially places like New York City, home to so many people, have kind of been spared. It's coastal. A lot of that air will blow inward and whatnot. That's a California problem. And then the proximity to somewhere like Canada, dense forests, and obviously dry forests. It's like, no one is going to be spared from this. I don't know, Ray, about you, but like over here in California, this is a yearly thing, right? In San Francisco, there were mornings when like in the morning it was just like Blade Runner out there, right? In LA, same thing. There's always a wildfire season. This year we've had a lot of rain, so it might be a little bit different. But all my friends were like, see, that's why I can't live in California, because it's just so smoky. And it's like, I don't know. This is a thing of like, you can't just move to the place that you think will be safest for you, right? Mm-hmm. We're all in this together. The fires that are burning in Canada and Quebec and Nova Scotia, all that air is flowing down to the entire Northeast. This is all of our problems. But I guess I'm curious on your thoughts. Have you been normalizing this kind of air quality on certain days?
So living in Chicago, smoke is not something that I've like been accustomed to. But for the past few days, when I would check the Weather Channel app before I go for my runs in the morning, I've seen it say smoke as the weather, and I was like, I've never seen this before in my life. But I just want to say that this is one of the reasons why environmental justice is also a disability rights issue, because people who have asthma and allergies are suffering, at a higher level because of the wildfires. It's already difficult for people who don't have asthma to breathe. So having this on top of that, it makes it even more exceptionally difficult for people with asthma to breathe. But also with climate change, different sorts of allergens are being reintroduced into the air. So people who have these allergies are suffering more. So I just wanted to tie those two things together and show, how really interconnected these sorts of, rights issues are with one another.
Yeah, and who is the most vulnerable out of those folks? Children who can develop asthma in their early lives, right? That's when a lot of it develops. And if your proximity to, whether it's an oil refinery or some other carbon polluting entity, like that will determine your health as you grow up. And so you're absolutely right. It's a disability issue. It's a healthcare issue. And if it is a children's rights issue in a time when all we're doing is talking about children's rights and the drag queens are coming for you and all the nonsense. And if only the folks who actually cared about kids looked out of their windows and saw, oh, hey, this is affecting people with small lungs far more than it is anyone else. Maybe we should, try and stop climate change for them and for the future, the future thems, the future kids.